Hi, welcome to Public Access. This is part of Government TV. We're on Comcast Channel 27, partnered with Comcast Channel 26, made possible by Government TV. These three stations are brought to you by your taxpayer dollars. Thank you for watching, and please continue to support these programs that make any kind of content available to any kind of creator here in the city of Albuquerque. Welcome to Public Access. Today, I'm going to be asking that you give for Christmas to your fellow neighbors. Today, we're talking to Roadrunner Food Bank. Roadrunner Food Bank is an organization that is all about feeding the community. If anyone faces food insecurity in your family that you know, make sure that they get in touch with Roadrunner Food Bank. They also help with getting people onto the SNAP program if you're homeless, or if you know anyone who lives in the areas of distribution. They do distribution there, and they need food. They do all kinds of drives all year. They're always looking for donations, and we want you to donate. So please donate to the website here on the screen, and please take care of your fellow neighbors. So I'm really excited to talk with my guest today, Brian Brown. Brian, thank you for coming to talk today. I've always enjoyed what your organization does. You guys have been around in the city a long time. You feed a lot of people. Tell me, how did you start, and how did you start feeding people? How many people do you feed?
Sure. So we were actually started in the back of a pickup truck in 1979 by a gentleman with the name of Reverend Titus Scholl. He saw people starving, basically, in Albuquerque. So he went to St. Mary's, which is a food bank in Phoenix. It was the first food bank in the United States. And he took a seminar about food rescue, which is product you rescue from grocery stores from being thrown away, which is perfectly fine to eat. So he was so gun-ho about that after the conference, he came back and took $25,000 out of his personal account and got another donation of $25,000 to start Roadrunner Food Bank in 1980.
Wow.
So from a back of a pickup truck to a 137,000 square foot facility, we've grown, but it's needed in our state, of course.
I mean, I actually didn't realize that that was how this started.
Yeah.
It was just from someone wanting to feed people out of the back of their truck and making sure that this food didn't go to waste.
Right.
And I really admire that. That's just the spirit. I think that spirit stays with you guys a lot.
It does.
You said you guys have like you said, pretty big facility.
We do.
What I'm really trying to get an understanding of is the scale of this operation. I mean, this is a huge facility you have. Help me understand, where are all the places you're getting this food, and how many places is it going? Because I don't think my viewers really get just how big your operation is.
Sure. So there's 33 counties in New Mexico. We do direct services in 24 of those 33 counties. So we're not just Albuquerque, we are basically statewide. So the way that we get our food is we are funded 80% by private dollars. People write us $10 checks a month, $25 checks a month. That's how we get our funding. With that money, we're able to purchase food because we're part of Feeding America, which is a national umbrella of food banks, and they send us leads where we can purchase food at a discounted rate. Like our potatoes, we pay 4 cents a pound, and we get them in 2,000 pound totes, so $80 for 2,000 pound potatoes. It's just our relationships with manufacturers, farms, the big box stores. So whenever our trucks go out full, which we have 17 of them, they come back full. So we're always going out rescuing food that we won't eat for, take that back. What consumers don't eat or buy for some reason, we're able to give it a second life to feed somebody.
That's a lot of food you're saving.
Yes.
I mean, just sending out trucks and they just come back full of food. And
right.
I think for me, understanding hunger, that's the hardest thing for me to wrap my head around. There are people on our streets who are hungry. There are families who have trouble getting food in the fridge for their families.
Right.
And there's just entire buildings full of food. Costco, I mean, Walmart, Target, grocery stores, everything, buildings full of food. And I struggle to understand, how do we get the food out of those buildings to the people who need to eat it?
Well, fortunately, we have a relationship with all those stores you just mentioned. We have a full-time staff that rescues food from these stores. So we're able to do that by going to the stores and picking up food. We also work with farms. This is really sad to tell you, but I'm going to. We are part of a co-op that's based out of Tucson, Arizona. There's a Mexican-American border crossing called Nogales. 40% of the fresh produce grown for United States tables comes through that border crossing. So let's say you're the American buyer for Smith's, I'm the Mexican truck driver, and I have watermelons. We meet at the border and you're like, you know, they're too big, they will not fit my displays. I don't want them. I'm told, as the driver, to throw that product on the ground, those watermelons, and head back with an empty truck. There is nothing wrong with those watermelons, it just did not fit in your store. So we're part of a co-op that rescues it from the ground, and we feed people with it.
Wow, from the ground.
Yeah, literally thrown on the ground.
Like this is an epidemic where there are truck drivers getting to the border, getting told their produce doesn't work for the market,
Right.
and it is cost effective for them to leave the food
Right.
on the ground.
Right.
And you just send people out there. How often are you picking
So
up food?
we have a staff in Las Cruces because we have an office there as well. So the drivers down there make the trip back and forth between Nogales and Las Cruces. 40 million pounds was rescued alone last year from that one crossing.
40 million
40
pounds
million
of food
pounds.
rescued at the border.
Yes.
So
It's
That-
sad.
that's insane. I mean, that's give me an understanding then of what the output of that looks like. So you're getting just truckloads of food constantly on a daily basis, bringing them all around the state, trying to get people food.
Right.
How many people is that really impacting?
Anywhere, we used to say 70,000, but that figures from 2014. So I'm guessing we're almost over 100,000 people each week.
Wow.
Because we do a lot of work with the Navajo Nation now too. Because our neighbors in the Navajo Nation tend to be forgotten about. So we're going to make sure they're fed as well. But we have 400 partners throughout the state. And those are your schools, your soup kitchens, churches, other nonprofits. So we're the bank. They withdraw from the bank to the feed of the communities. So every day our trucks are going to all these different places throughout New Mexico, which Jal, New Mexico is our furthest point. If anyone's ever been to Jal, I don't know if you have or not, this is New Mexico. Jal's right here. It's right across the street from Texas. So it's a 5.5 hour trip from our Albuquerque location. So that's how we're getting the food out. But another thing, people in our food lines, people just think we're feeding homeless. No, that's about 9% of who we feed. We're feeding people jobs. People are just not making enough money to put food on their table, pay the mortgage payment, keep the lights on. So we will take care of the food, take that burden off them, and then they can hopefully rest easy at night.
Now, what is that process like then? Because if you guys feed this many people, right? You're going to, like you said, Navajo Nation, helping Dene people find, groceries for as long as they can get through with that. How many people does that look like? I mean, over 100,000. I mean, is that something that you said is growing? Is that sustainable? Help me understand the future of what this looks like. Why is the number growing of people who need this help? And is the goal to reduce the amount of people on food help? Is it almost inevitable that this is going to keep growing? Why is that the case?
It's going to keep growing. We used to say, put us out of work. We realize it's not going to happen in our lifetimes. Not to get into politics, but the administration that's coming into office, they're talking about cutting jobs from government down to whatnot. We're going to see more people on food lines because they don't have the income coming into their homes to provide groceries, to pay the rent, the mortgage. So, we're expecting more people. And, it's just, as you know, there's no really middle class anymore. You're either rich or you're poor. So a lot of folks who have jobs are in our food lines.
Well, you say don't get into politics. Let me bring it a slight step further and say that I love that every 4 years politicians come on and they talk. People are really upset about the price of eggs. This is just always the talking point of we need to be concerned about what food costs.
Right.
And every 4 years, food costs more, and people seem to be more upset about it.
Right.
No one's ever happy about the cost of eggs, and I have trouble trying to figure out. Then, like I said, this problem of there's food in the building, we got to get it to the people. What does the support for your organization look like? Because clearly you are the most important group of people working in our state right now to feed people. People facing food insecurity rely on Roadrunner Food Bank to be safe and fed.
Right.
What is the sustainability of that on what we're giving to you guys? Clearly you're a beacon for our community. Are you getting tax dollars very much? Are you getting support in the form of grants or tax exemption? Help us understand how we're helping you, and if there's places we're not doing enough, and if we could be doing a little better.
Great question. So like I said earlier, 80% is from private dollars. The other 20% is through grants and federal funding. When I said federal funding, that means commodities. Back in the day, people referred to it as government cheese. The product's better nowadays. So we have the contract with the federal government to hand out those commodities. So that will always be inflow to our warehouse because it's subsidized by the government. But New Mexicans are great to us. They actually are wonderful. Like today, I took a donation of 18 birthday kits. And in this kit, there's a birthday cake mix, frosting, sprinkles, a birthday card, candles, and matches. And the woman said, could you please hand these out at your distributions on behalf of my daughter who passed away? So it was powerful. Because you think about, if you have $10, you're not going out and buying your son a birthday cake. You have to provide mac and cheese or hamburger helper. So there's people out there like that who realize that a cake mix is going to make someone smile.
Well, that's the thing that I think moves me the most. If you've been to these distributions, that especially in the ones where you go to places where there's a lot of unhoused, and you guys got me using this word of unhoused neighbor, and I've really appreciated that language that Roadrunner Food Bank's given me, and I use it on this show all the time. And our unhoused neighbors, when they come by your distributions, they have access to fruit, they have access to things that they might not normally have, even just things like drinks that are cold at that moment. And the fact that you can get pomegranates or watermelon or cantaloupe just on any given day, it brightens just them and their world in a way you can't imagine. And I have to ask, I mean, what is the goal of it? I mean, is it to feed people because they need fed? Is it because there's a direct need in our supply chain that you're subsidizing? What is really the functionality of the bank? Because it is so big, it starts to garner this question of what does that role you're really playing look like?
Our main goal is to make sure someone goes to bed full. Don't have to worry about food when you're trying to fall asleep. This last week, we had 3 distributions leading up to Thanksgiving. We fed over 7,000 households in those 3 days. And going back to unhoused, we were at the State Fairgrounds or Expo New Mexico. We had 344 people walk through our unhoused line to pick up food.
Wow.
So, unfortunately, we're not going to go away anytime soon, but fortunately, we're still here for people.
Well, that's the interesting thing, right? You almost think, like you say, you originally said, put me out of a job.
Right.
That didn't work out.
No.
But you're at a really weird point now where it's clear, I don't think you're really the charity though, right? You work with charities,
right.
The churches, the food banks, the soup kitchens, they come to you and they say, here's our needs.
Yes.
Even Navajo Nation, that's what they do. They say, we have the Dene who need some food right now. Can you come out and help us?
No.
You are at a place where I think it's not so much you are a charity, it's that charities rely on you. Without you, there isn't even charity. It's kind of the wrong word to use because you were the base of all of this donation.
Yeah.
So I have to make sure I'm in the right headspace here. Do people see that with Roadrunner Food Bank? Are you ever concerned that, I'm always hard, man. It's hard to get people to donate. It's hard to get people. I always feel like there's more that could be donated, and you have a really good optimism. You have a great spirit. It's hard for me. I want more donation. What does that future look like for you? I mean, do you think that there's more we can grow here for that reason?
So with donations, like I said, New Mexico's been great to Roadrunner Food Bank. But for the donations that are made from grocery stores or manufacturers, with the new software coming out with computers and such, they're streamlining their processes. So there's not so much excess left over. So
That's getting better. That is getting better.
It's getting better, but it drops our donations down because we're not getting the seconds, if you will.
Oh, interesting.
So we don't see as many donations from corporate groups anymore because of the streamlining of products.
Oh,
but,
I see what you're saying. Oh, so in a way there's, because like you said, there's food being left at the border kind of thing. It makes me think that maybe there's more that corporations could be doing for making sure their food gets to organizations like yours. Like you said, you work on a food rescue basis, you work on a basis of donations, and then people who are willing to give, write you checks, be just partners with the food bank, and then you can go out and get food that people need.
So just on that note right there, with $1, Roadrunner Food Bank can provide up to 5 meals with $1.
$1 can feed 5 people. So if that's the case, why don't we give you guys just $1 million every year? I have to ask. I guess that's where I'm coming from, is it feels like, we have city budgets, we have state budgets, and there's federal dollars. You said you get some grants, but from the percentage you said that funds, I personally think we need to be funding you guys more. What does that interest look like?
It comes down to corporations and politics, which I'm not going to go into.
Sure.
But just to give you an idea, this first 5 months of this, our fiscal year is July to June, so the first 5 months of this fiscal year for us, we've already sent out 20 million pounds of food.
Wow.
And that's just the first 5 months. Last year total, we sent out 60 million pounds of food. So it's our relationships where we're able to purchase this food and make sure it's on people's tables. Of course, we'd love $1 million, which we have received in the past from bequest and private foundations, but the need just grows and grows and grows.
And I think that it's your spirit, your ability to keep feeding people with whatever you guys have available to you, that makes me just admire your organization, just
Well,
beyond anything I can comprehend. You guys have great volunteers. I love the volunteers who come, and if people have time to give, I really encourage them to
Please.
come and
Yeah.
to work with you guys.
Yeah.
But you guys just do such important work. I want to make it clear that pretty much any guest I ever get on that I think could help your organization, I'm going to make sure I ask them, hey, do you think we could get more stuff for Roadrunner Food Bank? 'Cause
Please.
we need more for your organization,
Yeah.
and you guys provide so much. This Christmas, help me understand what that's going to be like for people who are in need, and
Okay.
how other people can
Okay.
donate.
So right now, with people who are doing food drives for us, where we have a box we can they can come get in, it's got our logo on it and it says food drive. So we have a lot of people doing food drives for us right now, which is great. People can clean out their pantries. Do not look at the dates. We'll take care of that, because if a can of corn says best by date November 2024, it's November 2026 really. So let us take care of that. Don't worry about the dates. So clean out your pantries this time of year. Go to the grocery store when Smith's is having a case sale. Buy us a case of ramen, buy us a case of beans or something like that. We rely on donations, monetary, time for volunteers, and also for food itself.
And I think your like you said, $1 feeds 5 meals. That I really want to make sure that just my viewers understand the good you guys do.
And now that $1, 98 cents feeds New Mexico. Our of it is 2 cents. That's unheard of in nonprofits.
So
It's
I
just-
donate $1 to you. 98 cents feeds
New Mexico.
5 people, and or
Yeah.
5 meals even. And then you have
The 2 cent overhead.
the 2 cent
Yeah.
overhead.
I've worked for other nonprofits where it's in double digits, the overhead.
Wow. I
Yeah.
mean, that's just, it actually makes me have some faith in humanity when I hear about organizations
Yeah.
like yours. Not just because you guys do good things. Charities are beautiful, and I think
Right.
charities are important. But you guys are a systemic sustainability for helping people who need help. You mentioned that the middle class is something that is always kind of in a fluctuating state right now. And we're at a point in our society when food insecurity is the most dangerous thing to me. I mean, we are a wealthy empire.
Yes, we are.
It would break my heart if we could not feed everyone.
Right.
And when I look at organizations like yours, I actually see the future of feeding people. I see, all right, when people don't have the means to feed themselves, what does that look like? How do you get stores full of food onto people's tables?
Yeah.
I mean, I just have to say I'm blown away by the work you guys do. And
thank you.
I really hope that we can just get everything. If there's something that, I mean, any goals that you guys have going forward, what are some of the things we can look forward to?
Well, I know that it's the holiday season and people want to give, which is wonderful. We see more volunteers this time of year. We see, of course, more financial donations. But I just want your viewers to realize and think about this. Summer is the hungriest time of year. It's not the holidays. Because kids aren't in school getting the free breakfast and lunches if they need them. So some kids are excited about summer coming up because they get to go to the pool and play in the park, whatnot. Some kids dread it because they're not getting food each day. So after December is over, our volunteer numbers will drop, and so are the donations coming in. So I just want to educate people that it's a great time of year to give as well, but summer is when we need the most donations of food.
Wow.
Yeah.
And that's also when I understand, you know, it's not easy for families right now that have kids.
Yeah.
Food insecurity for children right now is one of the biggest problems I
Yeah.
know we're having. And you know, coming into these next 4 years, I'm always afraid for kids and their food programs. Putting kids in school, trying to get them fed, it's not easy.
Yeah.
And the fact that you guys work with schools to help them, I think is just the most beautiful thing to me.
Yeah, we're in over 100 Title I schools throughout the state.
100 Title I schools.
So we used to do this program called Backpack for Kids, where you send a child home with a kid-friendly food in a backpack for the weekend to tie them over. We found out the kid was feeding the whole family out of that one backpack. So we decided to go to the schools themselves so the whole family can get out and get groceries from us. In our food bank, we don't ask questions. You're in our food lines for a reason. That's all we care about. Sometimes when I speak to kids or whatnot, well, that guy over there has a Lexus. You don't know if he's living out of it, if he's borrowed the car, or that is his car and he's looking for jobs. You just don't know who's facing hunger. I mean, it's anybody.
And hunger is a terrifying thing to have in our modern world, and I think you guys are doing the best of fighting it in our community. And I really appreciate you taking the time today to just outline all the good that you guys do. Just for everyone to know, where can they donate for you guys?
So just go to our website, which is www.rrfandbank.org. So once you come to the homepage, there's a donation button that you can click. This is a great time of year to donate money-wise because each dollar is going to be matched up to $110,000 from a matching fund through Smith's, Jackalope, Ray, and Abraham Kaplan Foundation. Wow. So it's a great time where your dollar is going to be doubled.
And that's that's actually 10 meals really then that you're getting out for $1. So everyone donate as much as you can.
And come see me to volunteer. We need volunteers. We have up to 150 a day.
Yes. So to all my viewers, please donate, volunteer. Take any time that you can to help Roadrunner Food Bank, and make sure you're writing your politicians and saying, get them more money, make sure they have whatever they need. They are the beacon in our community for feeding people and experiencing food insecurity. And I just want everyone for Christmas to understand that here at Channel 27 and 519, we're here downtown. There are people walking around constantly who are hungry right outside our building. It's pretty heartbreaking. It's hard for me to try to come into this studio and act like I want to talk about homelessness and how to help with it and how to help people who are hungry when just outside the building are the people that we're talking about. And I need everyone to understand that you have that ability to help. And even if it's not a lot, donating in this instance is the difference of having food on the table or not. So thank you for being able to help this program. If you can donate or volunteer your time for Roadrunner Food Bank, I encourage all my viewers to do so.
May I add something?
Oh, please.
We've talked about donating. If you need food, go to our website. There's a section that says Find Foods, excuse me. They click on that, type in their zip code, and all the pantries within an X amount of radius pop up. Hours of operation, phone number, map, and that's not just Albuquerque, that's statewide. And if people don't have access to the internet, they can call us as well.
And I actually like that message the most beautifully, which is if you need food yourself, please go get food.
Yeah, please.
Go to their website, get yourself fed, get your family fed. They have great programs. What you need, they will be able to have it and help you out. Please go to Roadrunner Food Bank. Either help them or help yourself, but they're here for the community, and that's why they're here today. So thank you, Brian Brown.
Of course.
I really appreciate it all the time.
My pleasure. This is great.
Thank you. I think we're good here.
Come.
This show is also made possible by Custom Station by Zane. Custom Station by Zane is your own t-shirts of your own design. If you have a picture or a piece of art or some kind of design that you want to see on a jacket or a shirt for yourself, Custom Station can make a shirt for you or a jacket. They also can do any kind of variety. If you have a family event coming up or some kind of company party, if you need a bunch of shirts real quick, custom shirts can get them done. I get a lot of the shirts that I wear on my program there at the station. You can find them at Coronado Mall. So next time you're at Coronado Mall, make sure you check out Custom Station by Zane. This show is also made possible by the studio that I'm in right now. Studio 519 is where I do most of my work, but when I'm not doing it there, I'm doing it here at Albuquerque Podcast Studio. Albuquerque Podcast Studio has any desire you have regarding content making. If you want to have microphones, lights, all set up in a space for you to have good conversations, this is the place to do it. They'll deliver you the entire product finished with the audio and video all put together so you can take it home and upload it after you do very minimal editing. I really like using this space whenever I need something very quickly on a short notice. These are the people I go to when I need something done right. I really like this space. I'm really comfortable with it. And this is where I'm recording this ad, so obviously I'm willing to give it my own support. So next time you have any needs, make sure you go to Albuquerque Podcast Studio. You can find them at albuquerquepodcast.studio. albuquerquepodcast.studio. That's where I'm filming this, and I really enjoy their space. So I recommend if you have any needs here in Albuquerque, you use them too.